Lesson 104. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Today's idea continues with the thought that joy and peace are not but idle dreams. They are your right because of what you are. They come to you from God, who cannot fail to give you what he wills. Yet must there be a place made ready to receive his gifts. They are not welcomed gladly by a mind that has instead received the gifts it made where his belong, as substitutes for them. Today, we would remove all meaningless and self-made gifts which we have placed upon the holy altar where God's gifts belong. His are the gifts that are our own in truth. His are the gifts that we inherited before time was, and that will still be ours when time has passed into eternity. His are the gifts that are within us now, for they are timeless, and we need not wait to have them. They belong to us today. Therefore, we choose to have them now, and know in choosing them in place of what we made, we but unite our will with what God wills and recognize the same as being one. Our longer practice periods today, the hourly 5 minutes given truth for your salvation, should begin with this. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. Then, lay aside the conflicts of the world that offer other gifts and other goals made of illusions, witnessed to by them, and sought for only in a world of dreams. All this we lay aside and seek instead that which is truly ours, as we ask to recognize what God has given us. We clear a holy place within our minds before his altar, where his gifts of peace and joy are welcome, and to which we come to find what has been given us by him. We come in confidence today, aware that what belongs to us in truth is what he gives. And we would wish for nothing else, for nothing else belongs to us in truth. So do we clear the way for him today by simply recognizing that his will is done already, and that joy and peace belong to us as his eternal gifts. We will not let ourselves lose sight of them between the times we come to seek for them where he has laid them. This reminder will we bring to mind as often as we can. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. A Course in Miracles, Lesson 104. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Here we are, still drowsy from dreams we called real life, sipping our morning brew, unwrapping that pastry like it's the first light of day. But this ain't a Starbucks study session, this is a conversation about truth. Not the kind you argue over, defend, or decorate with opinion, but the kind that hums beneath all things. So take a deep breath. Let's wake up for real. Who is the I that seeks? Let's start there. The lesson says I seek but what belongs to me in truth. But who is that I? It's not the ego, not the personality, the resume, the pain, the pride, the playlist. The I that seeks here is the holy self. The I that remembers, it was never born and can never die. The I that's not interested in collecting more, but in remembering what was never lost. That self seeks not novelty, not drama, not the next dopamine spike, but peace and joy. Because peace and joy are not desires, it says, they're inheritance. Not someday, not when you finally heal, not after you read 5 more books or manifest the dream life. Now why? Because they come from God. And what God gives is given fully, without condition, without delay, and without withdrawal. So then, why don't we feel it? The jalopy in the garage, and the new car you refuse to make space for. You've got a 1-car garage, and in it there's this old busted-up jalopy, rattles when it moves, leaks oil on your soul and leaves you stranded on the emotional interstate every other week. But you still keep it, maybe out of nostalgia, maybe because you don't believe anything better will come. Meanwhile, God's trying to give you a new vehicle. Not a physical car, but a way of moving through life, a joy-powered, peace-aligned ride that never breaks down. But he won't hotwire your will. A place must be made ready, and so the Course tells us, we must clear the altar, not the church altar, the altar of your mind, because joy and peace won't land on a cluttered runway, not when it's still crowded with what you made and crowned as king, your judgments, your self-made purposes, your false idols. And here's the uncomfortable truth. We often prefer the jalopy. Why? Because it's ours. It's familiar. We made it. And we secretly trust our broken ride over God's eternal gifts. We've placed our makeshift dreams on the altar where his should be. That's the illusion. So what do? We remove them, not with guilt, not with performance, but with willingness. Lesson says, we remove all meaningless and self-made gifts which we have placed upon the holy altar where his gifts belong. Like what? The gift of being right, even if it costs us peace. The gift of control, even if it strangles love. The gift of victimhood, which lets us blame but keeps us chained. The gift of achievement, which feeds the ego but starves the soul. The gift of specialness, which pretends to uplift us but isolates us from all. These are what we made, and we laid them down like golden idols on the mind's altar, calling them sacred when they were merely substitutes. But now, we choose again. Before time was, after time ends, still ours. The lesson says joy and peace were ours before time was. What does that mean? It means these gifts were given before the illusion of separation, before the first timeline, before a single second ever ticked. They are timeless. That means they're not trapped in chronology, not waiting for you on the other side of success. You don't have to deserve them. You have to receive them. So what does it mean that they're still ours when time passes into eternity? It means when this whole illusion dissolves, when the dream unwinds and the ego disintegrates, the only thing left standing will be what was always true. Love, peace, joy, you, the real you. And that's why we don't wait. No waiting room in heaven, no spiritual DMV where you take a number and hope God calls you up. The line you thought you were in, imaginary. Your number, already called. We need not wait to have them. Why? Because they belong to us today. Uniting wills. No more tug of war. Now comes the climax. We choose to have them now. We lay aside our small, anxious will and say yes to God's. Not in resignation, but in unification. Your will and God's will were never truly apart. You just believed they were. The ego says, if I follow God's will, I'll have to give up everything I want. But the truth says, if I follow God's will, I'll receive everything I truly want, because it's already mine. There's no tug of war, no sacrifice, only misidentification, until you remember. So what are the world's other gifts? The ones wrapped in Instagram filters and LinkedIn trophies. They promise fulfillment, but deliver anxiety. They sparkle, but they don't satisfy. What do they offer? Status instead of stillness. Distraction instead of presence. Transaction instead of connection. Performance instead of peace. They are the glittering substitutes, the dream-born knockoffs. But today, we're not buying. So we clear the space. We stop rehearsing pain. We stop hoarding grievances like they're antiques. We stop bowing to the idols we built from fear. We sweep the mind. We open the window. We set the table for peace. We come to the altar, not to beg, but to recognize, to remember, to reclaim. Because what's been given is not missing. It's just been buried beneath false gifts. God's will is done already. You can't unwrite it. You can't fail it. You can only forget it, or remember. So today we remember, not with effort, with surrender, not with striving, with stillness, not with fear, with joy. Because joy and peace belong to you, not because you earned them, but because you are them. You seek but what belongs to you in truth, and today you stop seeking, you start receiving.